Whew. So this is very Mercury retrograde. Definitely very Mercury retrograde. See how we've kind of like we're off by a day here on behavior. It looks like this is already clearly the Prince of Wands energy. So we have Princess of Swords. And matter of fact, I mean, it does kind of make sense that we would be like a day ahead because we had the low on the 18th, which was, or sorry, the market's a day ahead of our prediction, I should say, because we had a low on the 21st and it was on the 18th, right? So everything's kind of moved forward a day, throwing this off quite a bit. This is one of my worst, I'd say, daily predictions as far as how I saw it coming into play in quite some time. My apologies, guys, really. That took place at 1:30. What do we have this? What is this yellow? I would like to know what, or excuse me, this brown price level is. I think that's what we had as Emperor a while ago. Hence, this is why I put things into color. Like, I would do the Emperor line in a thick brown, even if I lose the words. It's very likely what it was. And so it's highlighted here now. Hey, Trading Altitudes. Hey, Tibraze. Hey, AV. So I'm not sure what you guys caught. I was just apologizing for being so off, but it makes sense. We're already in the Prince of Wands energy, and it makes sense. I mean, this is very Mercury retrograde-y. Like, we kind of had this shift on the 18th from being right on point on the 1 month to being off a day. The 18th is where we had a low, right? And we have it on the 1 month for the 21st. So that kind of shift to us being a day, like a, what should I say, a day late on our prediction in sequence of events, you know, it kind of shifted all of these days, and that's why we saw the Prince of Cups yesterday, followed by the Prince of Wands today, it looks like. Very Mercury retrograde. So my apologies, all of those of you that are on the short side there. There is the chance of this being lower, the 28th, but again, remember, like, our sequence of events has been accurate, but like we're kind of off by a day here, and it's Mercury retrograde. Like, it could shift at any moment back to being on point. You know, it's just a really tricky time to be doing trades. And it's not just ESO meta analysis. I mean, if you were to use technical analysis, you'd find that all of the standard, like the classic expectations that come with technical analysis would not come to fruition during Mercury retrograde. What do I mean by that? Like, let's say in technical analysis, when you hit a resistance level, you either break out through it, test it, and then continue onward, or you bounce off of it and make a reversal and go the other way after testing it again, usually. But the point is that you touch it and then you determine either way that you go. That's like normal technical analysis. But during Mercury retrograde, what you'll find with technical analysis is that, like, that resistance level will either break straight through it without even coming back to retest, or will have a reversal before even touching it, like just before touching it or in between it and another price level. Like, just in an odd place to reverse. That's the type of thing that you see during retrograde. It's a similar kind of stuff like with SO meta analysis. Just randomly, like the sequence of events was on point by the day on the 1 month up until the 18th, and then it just kind of like right around the time that we go station. Like I said, it's really difficult to determine here if we go from a peak to a crest or a crest to a peak. Even when looking at the 28th daily, it was a little bit difficult to determine it. Probably from a peak to a crest is my sense. But it is difficult to determine for sure. Probably a peak to a crest because we've got this unicursal here. It's a satiety card. There's correlation to the satiety card here. We have high correlations. There's also a low correlation though, so that's part of why it's tricky. If we're a day ahead, that makes the 25th the next peak. That is not correct, AV. There's really, like, it could be correct, but I can't tell you for certain that that's correct because what I'm saying about Mercury retrograde is like we had this shift to being like off by a day. At any moment we could have this shift to being like back on by a day. It'll be like we'll be accurate but still wrong somehow, if that makes sense. Like you'll be right and like something will go haywire with your hardware and you won't be able to make the trade that you needed to make. And you end up being like losing money anyways, even though you were right. That's the type of scenario that unfolds during retrograde. So probably AV, but it's hard. It's really, it could switch back at any moment. Like I didn't see the switch happening on the 18th. It just kind of happened, and we're still on point with our sequence of events. But today's day is like really thrown off, really haywire. However, remember what I said, you see like this reversal. There's usually like a pause, or there's like a full-on reversal. There's like a pause and then the next day you have a reversal, or there's just no pause and you have a full-on reversal, and it looks like there's a bit of a reversal here. There are cases though where there isn't a reversal, where you have a pause and then you continue in the same direction that the trend was going overall. I'm talking about this on like a 1 month scale. Let me open up one of these. All right, so looks like this Emperor price level, by the way, lined up pretty well with the Princess of Swords here. But in any case, what I want to do is I want to visualize Mercury retrograde's dates, important dates here for you guys. Usually I do Mercury retrograde in like a weird brownish kind of color. Brownish or like an off green for the planet. Alright, so the 3rd, the 23rd. That's too dark, you can't see that. Something that should be quick, like just drawing a line, there's like all these extra steps because we picked the wrong color. That's Mercury retrograde typicality again. think I said the 23rd, right? 15th and the 30th. Or like how I can't see the date now, it's not showing me the date. Interesting. So something that should be quick is no longer quick to do. You want to come up, Hermes? Alright, buddy, I got you. Oops. Alright, buddy, come here. Where are you? Come on. Alright, so this period of time here has now passed, so we should see something along the lines of, based on this. Let's see, is there Doodle? Hermes. Alright, so we have this kind of downward arching thing. We should do something along the lines of, this needs to be thicker. I probably should have done this before 3 o'clock technically, but it's really elongated, so that might be a little wrong. Something along the lines. Wow, it's so annoying. It won't let me start the draw where I want to draw. But it could be like here, you know, it could be like that. Or like that. It's just the overall trend, right? But generally speaking, we should see somewhere around this price level again towards the end. Usually that's the way it goes, but when you have a really strong overarching trend, like mid-correction, instead of a reversal, it may end up being like just like this continuation. And on the day of these lines, you would get like a pause and then a continuation of trend rather than a reversal. And it's not exactly a reversal, it's more like an inflection point where you like you start doing the pattern that was in here backwards through this period. Now keep in mind there's a lot more time here, so there's parts of the pattern that are missing that we don't see because there's so much more time here, and that has to do with weekends in a lot of cases. Weekends make that type of thing take place. Oh wow, bunch of people. Hey Dumb Money, hey Baby Yoda. Alright, if I skip you guys, I'm coming back to you. I've got to take care of the questions from the people with the stars next to their name first. Great call on Bitcoin pump today. Want to ensure I am following 28th may not be a low correlation. Nice. Right, so there's probably going to be a retracement tomorrow of some sort. Why I say that is because we have this big move to the upside here, and generally speaking, the art card is going to be a prominent move higher, standing out on a scale of the chart like this, standing out. But it's followed by a full retracement in most cases, and you'll either see the full retracement like as part of the card, or it'll be like combined with the card next to it. So in the case of this just going to the upside, unless we see a turnaround here towards the into the end of today, my sense is there's probably a retracement tomorrow, and that there's opportunity in there to open up long. I don't foresee the 25th being a highest high. It's very much more likely that we see a highest high on the 30th. But the very end of the month, like especially the last 4 days, are very bullish. What was the question? I'm not sure what you mean by the 28th may not be a low correlation. There's nothing there indicating that it's a low of any kind. How's space looking for tomorrow? Yeah, it looks like there's a pretty big move to the upside tomorrow. Matter of fact, it might be mixed. Like, let's see. Or what's the early part of the day? Well, on the cusp of the 24th, 25th, there's a really notable move to the upside. There'll be like a breakout there, and then we'll do some crisscrossing back and forth through a price level here on the 25th, at a higher price level than somewhere here on the 24th. That crisscrossing back and forth is going to confirm a bullish trend, and you can see this bullish trend continues, and it gains momentum as we move forward into the end of the month. Yeah, so this is like a pop and drop taking place here. Screenshotted this drawing because I know E-Trade likes to erase my drawings during Mercury retrograde. What is that? How long will the effect of Mercury retrograde remain? When is this expected to end? So we've just exited. What time is it? Yeah, we've just exited, like, as of this hour, we've just exited the first of 3 stages of Mercury retrograde, which is called the pre-shadow, and we're now effectively in the actual Mercury retrograde. Before we were just under the influence of, now we're under the influence of and in. So this is where you really want to stick to rules between the 23rd and the 15th. You really want to stick to strictly to following certain, I call them Mercury retrograde rules. You don't want to sign anything. You don't want to make any important decisions that weren't planned ahead of time outside of retrograde. You want to really be very mindful of things, of like sudden opportunities or things starting on the day of the 23rd or the day of the 15th, more so the day of the 23rd. You want to be very, very mindful and cautious about things that just kind of like appear around that day. But you want to not sign things. You don't want to make any big purchases. Anything that you have to purchase, like that's an important purchase that you have to make, you want to make sure there's some way to return it. You don't want to get stuck with it because you probably find a better deal after retrograde or something like that, or it'll be like a faulty like wire in there. And then you want to double check everything that's like when you're placing a trade, if you do plan to trade during retrograde, which I learned a long time ago not to do, but if you do plan to, because it affects certain people more than others. I think it affects me quite a bit. I forgot where I was going with that, but in any case, those are the type of things, the things that you want to follow during Mercury retrograde. And so effectively we exit Mercury retrograde on the 15th, but we'll still be under the influence of Mercury retrograde until the 30th, and it'll be intense, and like it'll lose its intensity as we exit retrograde. Right now what we're at is like around, aside from today, which is kind of like a null point in between really intense portions of it. So we should be an intense part of retrograde tomorrow, and that should kind of like peter out into the middle of this brown section here, so around the first week of September, and then it's going to start to intensify again as we move forward into the 15th. There's a pause on the 15th, or like a null moment there, and then it gradually weakens. It loses its intensity as we exit in the third phase.
Can I please check SPY on the 25th? I see a ruin on at 10 a.m. That's when Jerome Powell speaks. Is that a breakout ruin?
On the 25th? Yeah, that is. Well, it's not a breakout, but it is a move to the upside. And I think what happens, based on its positioning, what we're going to see is like first this move to the downside, and it's going to look like we're moving downward based on something. So this is a little tricky, but that's the whole point of the ruin. It's indicating that based on some sort of news, we're going to have this move to the downside, but it's going to be kind of like a fake out, and there should be a pretty significant move to the upside after like this move to the downside. This is one of those ruins that's situational depending on its direction. Not all ruins, the direction matters. Most of them it does, but not all.
Hey, Round Earth. Will Bitcoin soon be at 40K?
So there should be a pretty big retracement of this move, guys. So just be careful not to get caught off guard there. There's going to be retracement of this move to the downside. But in the midst of this decline tomorrow, that's when I would say is going to be one of the best opportunities this month to open up a long position in SPC. And then from there, it doesn't necessarily mean we go lower. It could mean that we go lower, but doesn't necessarily mean that. Technically, No, that's a little too far away. In any case, so there should be this move, this decline to the downside. I would utilize that as opportunity to open up a long position. Last 4 days of the month, especially, are really significant to the upside. And the question was, will we see 40K Bitcoin? Will we soon be at 40K Bitcoin? Soon? I don't like that question. I don't like soon. Need more definitive time frame. Yeah, so see, we're in the midst of this. At the end of the month, there's this big move in August to the upside out of oversold territory. We're going to come to an important resistance level in early September. I think it probably 40K is going to be next year. We're going to do a lot of back and forth, but there's a high for the year at the end of the year.
Oh, sorry, AV. Sorry, Dumb Money. I just saw these questions. QQQ, low for September, be near the 20th. I'm basing this question on SPY and other tech forecasts. How are the tech forecasts identifying the 20th? Is there something going on that date? Will the QQQ low for September be near September 20th, 2023? I gotta know for that. What was I looking at, Dumb Money? I thought I was looking at SPY. Was I not looking at SPY? I might have been looking at Bitcoin. So it's hard to say. It could still be a low there. It really could still be a low there. It's looking like there's strong possibility of a low there. So what might happen is that we revisit this price level here, and that would make sense based on the chart that I got rid of. Where is it? Oh, sorry guys. Where is it? Yeah, it's too difficult for me to open it up right now. But that would make sense. That we would see like another near that price level or another dip into there. But there's also a prominent peak or crest there as well. Are you still seeing an AAPL short day trade tomorrow? It might be a little risky to do a short day trade there. Hmm. 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 A better trade would be if we see a sharp drop tomorrow to open up a long position in the midst of that sharp drop. Hold the long position until the following day towards the end of the day. That would be a better trade, or hold it until the 28th at an important technical price level on a multi-day scale. A week by week. Oh, you mean like the tech sector lows? I thought you were talking about like a technical analysis forecast. But how do you know the tech lows will be between the 20th and the 24th though? Is that based on another prediction? I'm just curious, AV. So there might be a short day trade tomorrow, but I would say you're probably better off going for, in the midst of the decline, a long swing trade, hold a long position overnight into the following day. Summer squid? I'm not sure what you mean by a summer squid stole you. Is that a term for something? You're welcome. You're welcome, Trading Altitudes. You're welcome, Baby Yoda. You're welcome, Conrad. Will we see SPY at 446 by end of this week? Jeez, I got like this cramp right here. I think we do see 446, but if we do, it's probably tomorrow. It looks like 40K is next year, but ask me again when it's not Mercury retrograde. I may have a different answer for you. Oh, gotcha. Okay, cool. Good to know. I don't remember half of these predictions. They just, there's so many of them. I'm almost in like a trance-like state when I do this stuff too, Okay, so QQQ forecast starting from 9/4.
so we're going to do the overall trend direction. What's the overall trend direction of QQQ week by week throughout September 2023? So the week starting the 4th, a notable rally on the week of the 4th, moving higher, but also offering opportunity to open up a short position. And then we have a mixed week of the 11th. We stay between we stay within a channel of resistance and support, and we decline, incline, and then decline. There's like a sideways S formation there. The week starting the 18th, there's an important resistance that's highlighted that we've met many times and failed to break through many times before. So we're probably doing some sideways there, and then it looks like we decline pretty notably in the 4th week starting on Monday the 25th. That week we declined to revisit a support level that we met once before. But I would say the Ace of Wands for the first week of the month of September is not boding well for QQQ in September. Appreciate it, Round Earth. You're welcome. You're welcome to Braze. Oh, thank you, Round Earth. Appreciate the compliment. All right, so I'm going to run through what I see for tomorrow. Yikes. I mean, yes, today was so... Ugh. It's just such an off day, guys. So sorry. Sort of looks like we had a combination of the Satiri card and the Strife card took place here on the 21st, and that's kind of where things kind of started skipping forward. But I feel pretty strongly that we'll see the same low again, or close to the same low that we saw on the 18th. We should see here around the 28th. Could be a day early, maybe a day late, but around the 28th. And then there should be a prominent crest out of that as well. All right, so from the 1 day, it's that retracement card. So it looks like we might actually open higher tomorrow. We have the Ace of Cups here. It's nullified. We see it tomorrow first thing in the morning, and it's cross-reading. There's a congruency here to... It's a cross-reading congruency, actually, the Ace of Cups. So a decline off of a high that offers opportunity to open up a long position, meaning that we most likely see the high again. Either midday or at the end of the day. I think probably midday. It's a tricky day. I feel kind of
weary of really getting into trades for tomorrow. It's just a really choppy, sloppy day. And I would like to see us get back on track, back onto like the same day first. So I guess I'll leave you guys with that. My apologies for being so off today. It's going to happen occasionally, and almost always when it does happen, it's almost always during retrograde. So keep that in mind. And best of luck to you guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to follow that Rule of Karma. You do so here on the Resources tab, where we ask that you donate 5% of the profits forward to one of these charities, 5% of the profits back to the channel. Thank you very much. And that leaves you at 90%. Make sure to spend that money out of love. As long as you do that, the universe is going to send it back to you tenfold through this channel. Ace of Wands represented the first week of September for QQQ. So Ace of Wands is an opportunity to open up a short position, seeing it in the first week of the month. Strong likelihood that the high is in the first week of the month. Will there be a new POTUS January 2025? Ask me that on a different day. Bad time to ask right now, guys. We just went station retrograde. What am I doing? I started daydreaming. Sorry, guys. Ooh, that's not good. This is a fake out, most likely, right here. We might see movement to the upside tomorrow. We have a breakout card for tomorrow. But technically, you could say we had the breakout kind of fake out here. So it might be that we're a day ahead on this as well. Point is that this move to the upside is kind of like a fake out. And then we're most likely going to see it's possible we see a high and a low. So technically, we've already seen the high today, and this ruin indicates in a lot of cases a high. I had it indicating a low for whatever reason. I took this out of my readings moving forward because this combo is throwing me off. This is the reason why I've had some difficulty identifying highs and lows, and I'm like basically getting them backwards in certain cases, is because of the combo of these two stones. So I removed them for now. looks like I was off on that as well. Came close to a low today. I would probably wait. I would probably wait to open up along if I was gonna do it. Probably I'd do it in the like on the 28th and close it on the 29th. Just because it's kind of choppy for Amazon there. Alright, my friends, with that said, gonna roll. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a